when he walks in, it shows people behind him being led away dead to have their brains taken. After your brains are taken, they're going to kill you. And they say, it's ridiculous that TV, eats your brain. It only softens it. Hulu takes it all the way. What are you going to do? Turn your TV off? Well, TV really is doing this. The elites see themselves as the Morlock, us the Eloi. They are controlling us. They are doing all of this. And so this is how they are conditioning us. So this is really a very sinister ad as they throw it in our face. And it's funny that we're being killed and we're being brainwashed and we're losing our soul to the television when in reality it's actually doing that, causing Alzheimer's, all these other things, all the big studies about how it does cause brain damage. They make a big joke out of it in his TV show. You were saying, one of many we've heard about, but you saw it, where everybody's fighting to get the vaccine. So this is how they do predictive programming. I want Alan Watt to talk about that. But here is the Super Bowl Hulu ad right now.
Hello, Earth. I'm Alec Baldwin, TV star. They say TV will rot your brain. That's absurd. TV only softens the brain like a ripe banana to take it all the way. We've created Hulu. Hulu beams TV directly to your portable computing devices, giving you more of the cerebral gelatinizing shows you want anytime, anywhere, for free.
I only act out because I want your love. God almighty!
Mushy mush. And the best part is there's nothing you can do to stop it. I mean, what are you going to do, turn off your TV and your computer? Once your brains are reduced to a cottage cheese-like mush, we'll scoop them out with a melon bowler and gobble them right on up. Oops. I think I'm drooling a little. Because we're aliens. And that's how we roll. Hulu, an evil plot to destroy the world. Enjoy.
Now, but see, there's the big joke there is that, we're enslaving you, and the guy's laughing, and he's laughing back at him, and then he stops laughing. It's a fake laugh. It's like, look, this ad is a joke on you. I don't even know if Baldwin understands this.
He's dinner, too. In between the laughing, he gives him that look like, I'm going to eat you. It's crazy. Crazy.
And it shows him in the background taking people they've killed away, and it's all done like in a clinical way. Now, Alan Watt, tell folks about predictive programming for those that don't understand. The government admits and the media admits. Like you watch all science fiction movies, Starship Troopers, that science fiction movie that they just did with a few years ago with Clooney. It's all about, I want to really do good so I can get a license to have children so I can compete to be 1 out of 1,000 to have kids. That's predictive programming. They're telling you what the future is going to be, and you see stuff 40 years ago in science fiction. It's what happened today. Explain predictive programming, and then Burmis is going to briefly tell folks what happened on this last sitcom with Alec Baldwin.
It's a scientific process of familiarization to the public. So you familiarize them with ideas in a fictional format. When it's in fiction, the sensor part of your brain is down. You're being entertained, you think. But it's implanting a possible idea, a possibility of something to come. Therefore, when it starts to happen gradually in society, this actual idea comes into it becomes concrete and it's implemented. You think it's all quite natural, that we're somehow progressing naturally along a certain path. But in reality, your mind has already been prepared to accept something you would never otherwise accept because you'd be reasoning through it. Through fiction, you don't reason through. And when it's coupled with emotion, every movie, every novel has a character you identify with, the hero, the heroine, and you identify with them, and you go through things that you may go through in your real life with them. When you couple it with the actual downloads implanted of the idea of something to come, you're now familiar with it. And so emotion is the best way to do it. They call it emotive programming. And in that sense, they can put anything into your mind, especially scary scenarios. That's
and
what they're using right now.
They will have a set of archetypes. They admit this in broadcast school of the guy that's the cool kid next door and the info babe and the guy that's the father figure and the mother figure. Or like in the Transformers, the new one coming out, you've got the hero Optimus Prime jumping up on the giant robot, like one of our ancestors jumping on the back of the mastodon. It's all these preconditioned ancient instincts, almost ancestral memories. And the establishment admits this, that they are programming. And so I've been watching online the old 1980s G.I. Joe. Gold is bad. Cobra believes in that as a currency. Wearing black ski masks is good. The police state's good. Checkpoints are good. Watch children's shows. And it's total, and now they admit G.I. Joe is basically funded by the Pentagon as product placement, and now it's just out in the open, they're programming everything, and then they admit the Pentagon developed video games, now they're hiring people that are good at the flight simulators to fly the Predator drones. Now the zit-faced kids are 25, they're actually flying the death drones, they're being recruited into the Air Force. Now they're saying soon within 5-6 years, we're going to have you jacked in with a chip into your brain. You know, you don't have to take the chip. You're just a hero. You know, you're a fighter pilot in your pod 10,000 miles away. I mean, it's all happening. It's all really unfolding.
It's a script. The script was written a long time ago, and the big foundations probably employ more psychologists and experts on anthropology, ethnology, etc., than any other agencies or governments in the world. And they basically are the parallel government is comprised, remember, of big foundations, which are just the fronts for the bankers. And they bypass all democracy. They have their agenda. Their agenda was written a long time ago. The big boys who gave us Brave New World in the 1930s, talking about genetic engineering of a fixed population with special purposes for you'd be designated with your job for life. You'd be created for that job, physically created for that job. It was done in the 30s. They all belonged to the same organization for this world governmental system. A scientific dictatorship was what Huxley called it. And that's what we're going into. And they're using fear. Now, we've all heard about the global warming scams and so on and so on. And again, it's coming from the United Nations, the International Panel on Climate Change. Here's a quote from them. Here's a quote from one of the top guys there at the United Nations. Stephen Schneider, Stanford professor of climatology, lead author of the IPCC reports for the United Nations. He says, we need to get some broad-based support, there's public support, to capture the public's imagination. So we have to offer up scary scenarios, made simplified, dramatic statements, and make little mention of any doubts. In other words, terror, terror, terror. It says each of us has to decide what's the right balance between being effective and being honest. And then the other chairman, Sir Hugh Houghton of the IPCC at the United Nations, that's giving the global warming scam, he says, unless we announce disasters, no one will listen. Well, this whole health thing with the flu right now is for the World Health Organization at the United Nations, and it's now their turn to do the same thing with scary scenarios. That's what's happening right now.
Absolutely. Now here's just a microcosm of predictive programming, and it came out the FBI and the Pentagon. This is even on television. I already read about it years ago. One day I was watching TV, I think it was History Channel, did a show about the history of SWAT teams and said that they wanted to introduce it to the public. They just said it calmly. So they introduced it to the public through the TV show SWAT, and that became the model. And then all departments wanted to be special paramilitary forces, and that the Pentagon and FBI were running it and funding it. And so that conditioned them with an us against them, no longer the guardian, no longer the peacekeeper, no longer of the people, now a separate group. And you saw that in all the children's programming. But tell them just about the show with Alec Baldwin, not Ellen Watt, with Alec Baldwin, where they're all fighting to get the flu shot. And we checked, this was shot months ago, airing last week, perfectly to coincide with all of this. I mean, again, lady, and I'm getting all these YouTube clips of other shows simultaneously doing this, just like the movie Pearl Harbor comes out right as 9/11 hits, and they say, oh, it's just like Pearl Harbor. And, of course, the actors don't even know this, but this is the psychiatrist, the psychologist doing this. Tell them about it.
Yeah, if people don't know, 30 Rock is basically a spoof of Saturday Night Live behind the scenes. And what happens is people start getting the flu in the office, so everybody starts freaking out.